Good evening, family. This is Victor ETV, and we're here doing Sidewalk Talk, and I get a chance to meet all different types of people on the sidewalk. And this day, on this Friday evening, down in Montgomery, Alabama, I get a chance to meet a person. I believe she goes by the name of Miss Skye. Skye, she's a wonderful singer, but she's also an artist. And that's what I get a chance to interview her today about. So at this time, I want to welcome to my platform, Skye ReVera.
Yes.
Okay, fine. We'll put that across the screen and you'll see that. But today, we're so happy to be able to get a chance to interview her and find out more about her. This is what I usually do. I usually ask my interviewers about their past, present, and future. So we get a chance to, I get a chance to introduce you to my audience out there. Okay, so we're gonna meet this fantastic person here. Could you tell us just a little bit about your past? Where are you from and what have you?
So I am from a little tiny town called Bryant, Alabama, near Chattanooga. I was technically born across the border in Tennessee in that hospital, right on the edge of Tennessee. So I'm technically born in Tennessee, but raised in Alabama. And moved at a young age to Prattville, Alabama. Lived there for about 10 years, and then moved with my family to Wetumpka. And since then, I've come to Montgomery. So I've always been local in the area, the surrounding area. So I was homeschooled growing up. I think that has a lot to tie into my creativity because I had a chance to explore all of my creative avenues, and I have to give a lot of credit to my parents. They were very good about following my whims. Whenever I wanted to paint something or create something or make something, they were always so nice about making sure I had the tools to do that.
Now, were you homeschooled during your entire high school?
I was homeschooled my whole life besides a couple of years, 4th, 5th, and 6th grade. So that was all public school, and that was a really big experience for me. I have a lot of big moments that happened during those years and memories. One of the memories I had was my art teacher telling me that I was doing art wrong by not following the rules, even though I can draw an apple. That's what I did. But they wanted me to follow all the rules perfectly, and I think that's where some of my creativity came from, is that I love to express myself without following all the perfect little rules, and it's just expressing myself is a big thing for me. So I started out doing drawing. That was a huge thing for me. I always have been an artist drawing, and so painting didn't come till later in my life. But drawing was fascinating to me because I was able to create characters and draw people and portraits, and it just was a lot of inspiration came from a lot of books and movies that I was interested in. So I love fantasy stuff. So for example, Lord of the Rings and Narnia and Harry Potter and all those fantasy type things. I loved the books, I loved the movies, and they all fascinated me into this fantasy world that I wanted to create in my art, in my music, in my eventually writing, because I do want to write books in the future. That's just going to be something I see later in my life, but when I have the time. But I love creating characters, fantasy art, fantasy people. So as you see behind me, these are very fantasy oriented, the butterflies and the flowers and very feminine features. So that was that's something that just really inspires me. I love the beauty of people and humans. I love beauty of women, which is specifically what's portrayed here. And that is something that I want to portray in my art, is beauty. So
I think that is so amazing. And my daughter, I remember when she was about 7 or 8 years old, we were at church, and the pastor asked all the members, what did they want to be when they grew up? And long story short, my daughter said, I want to be a mommy.
Aww, that's so sweet.
And it was like everybody else was saying doctor, lawyer, and my daughter said that.
That's
and
very
the interesting
sweet.
thing, she would love this, the butterfly. She loved pink and what. And that picture right there just says motherhood and such femininity. I love that. And all of them are
Yep.
They're very beautiful.
Thank you. It's a very funny story with this one. I was painting her and I accidentally made her belly a little bigger than I wanted it to be, and at that point it was too late to fix it, and I was like, well, she could be pregnant.
Yeah.
And then I started painting. I was like, well, she is pregnant. We're just gonna leave it like that. So that kind of came from an accident and turned into an art piece. So
and she's beautiful. They're all beautiful.
Thank you. So this one specifically is what inspired the title of our show, which is Kaleidoscope Chaos. So kaleidoscope is the definition of a group of butterflies. So that's what inspired this art piece about a year ago. It's called Kaleidoscope Beauty. And the butterflies have always been special to me because, talking about my past, when I was like 6 years old, I had this very special moment happen where I had a next door neighbor who, she was a little bit mean. She liked to throw rocks at people and things like that. So she took a butterfly and she stuffed it in a bubble container. It's a little tiny thing that you normally blow bubbles out of.
Oh, okay.
And I was so upset, and I took it from her, and I took the butterfly out. Amazingly, it was still alive, and it fluttered around, and then it came right back, and it went all over my face. I was like, oh my gosh, I just got kissed by a butterfly, and it was so special,
Oh, wow.
So it was like a defining childhood moment where I just loved butterflies after that. So that butterflies have been a theme for me my whole life, and that's what inspired the title of our show. So I was so fascinated when I found out that a group of butterflies is called kaleidoscope. So that's
wow.
Yeah. So
I my oldest son, we homeschool him up, and it develops. One thing I noticed is certain type of, especially when you have a Christian background, a great sense of that innocence.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
that was in all of my children, even my son. But I'm just thinking, as you tell your story, I think back into similarities of my life here, so I can really appreciate your story. But how long has it been that when did you find that you could sing?
Okay, so that goes back to childhood also. I played piano since I was about 2 or 3. I just loved plinking around and finding little things, and I discovered very early on that I could play by ear. So I really enjoy hearing something and then playing it, and that continued into my...
So you play both? You play by note and by...
Yes, and my parents put me in piano lessons as a kid, that's okay, where I learned how to read the notes, but again, it goes back to, I don't exactly like following all the rules, so I didn't exactly continue reading notes. Later on, I just continued writing my own music and making up my own songs or hearing songs and playing them, because it was very funny. I would read notes for about an hour, could hardly figure this song out, but then I listened to the song for 2 minutes and I've got the whole thing figured out, because it just, my brain just operates better when I'm able to express it that way, with music specifically. Well, then later in my life, my grandma was very special to me. She lived with my family almost my whole life because of, she had severe depression and anxiety her entire life, and she wasn't really, it wasn't good to leave her alone most of the time. And so we, early at a young age, she moved in with my parents and lived with us up until she passed away, and that was in 2020. And she and I were at a music store in Branson, Missouri. This was around the time I started singing. I was kind of interested in it, but I didn't really find my voice yet. We were at a music shop, and she found I found a harp. So harps have always been so fascinating and so beautiful to me. And there was a little tiny harp, and I think it was about $50, and I was like begging my mom, I'm like, please mom, I'll do all the lemonade stands and all the things, I was like begging my mom, please give me this little harp. And it was a harp with about 8 strings on it, not much you could do with it. Well, then my grandma saw the big harp. It was it's about this tall, and it's called a Celtic harp. It's a lever harp, and it's not quite the same as one of those big gigantic ones you see on movies and things like that, and on stages, but it still has a beautiful sound and has enough strings to really make music with. And so my grandma came to me and she was like, this harp is really expensive, it's several $100s, and none of our family were rich or anything, but she was like, I'm gonna dig out of my savings and I'm going to get you this harp, but only if you are going to do something with it, play it, learn it, and make something in your future out of it. And I was like overwhelmed. I was so excited. I was so happy about this harp. And it became such a special instrument to me because it's so freeing and it's gentle and it's amazingly, it's very similar to the piano because the keys on the piano and the strings on the harp, they coordinate in a very similar way. And so I was able to pick it up fairly quickly because I was so used to playing a piano. So that happened early in my teenagehood, and then later on I started to explore singing, and I just loved singing, and I'd loved music already, but singing became something I wanted to do. So I joined the choir at my church at that time, and I started learning about how to harmonize and how to follow the notes when you're singing and all that, you know, simple stuff. And so I told my mom I was interested in singing. She was able to put me in vocal lessons. I only did that for about a year, but I picked up so much in that year. Like, they taught me breathing exercises and things like that. I think that set my foundation. Then as I got older, I started attending another church where they had a gospel choir, and they gave me more solo parts, and I was able to really discover my voice. And honestly, I feel like that was a turning point for singing with me, was discovering my voice in solo gospel music, and I loved it. And as I've continued through the years, I've just practiced all the time. I sing in my car, I watch singing videos online, I signed up for little vocal teaching seminars and things like that. And so I've just really taught myself over the years. But what has trained me more recently is I've played gigs with my friend Chris and several other musicians around the city, and we play in lounges and bars and restaurants and things like that. And I have gotten a chance to really sit for 2 and 3 hours singing back to back, just doing these cover songs. And I feel like that has really trained me in my vocal abilities to the point that I'm at now, because if you heard me singing 2 years ago or 1 year ago versus now, I feel like there's a very, very big difference because I've learned so much about my voice. So
didn't you win some opportunity or something lately?
Yes.
I think I heard about.
Kind of a funny story. So my friend Candace, who actually attended the first art show opening that was here, randomly came across an ad from Alabama National Fair where they were going to be doing auditions for American Idol. And
yes, American Idol.
Yeah, Lady K was going to be one of the judges at the fair. You know, Lady K was in American Idol last year. She got into the top 10, and then she came as a judge this year for the Alabama National Fair, along with a set of other judges. She's from Montgomery, so she's a local. And it was an opportunity where I could submit my video, and if your video gets picked, then you get to sing in front of the judges at the fair. So I did that. They picked my video, I got to sing in front of the judges, and they pick a couple of people from each day of people singing to go to the finalists, which was the next week. So they did pick me to go to the finals, and I was in the final 12. I did not get picked in the top 4 to have my live audition to American Idol, but cool thing is, I had a connection that reached out to me later that night who said, hey, I have some connections with American Idol, and I want to submit your video and see if I can still get you an audition. And it was so amazing. I was like, wow, so I'm getting a second chance.
That is fantastic.
I'm still waiting on the results of that, so there's still a chance that I could go.
Well, we're going to keep our fingers crossed that opportunity will happen
Thank you very much.
you.
Thank you.
Wow, that's such favor, such favor.
Thank you. So I feel like that has brought us to present, definitely. That's a lot of what's happening in the present. And
what about future?
So, future ties in with what is happening right now, which is my husband and I have become the new owners of the Goat House Beer Garden, which is absolutely insane. I'm still overwhelmed.
Now, you need to give us that information.
And I'm still very overwhelmed about it, but it's a really amazing opportunity. We get to share our creations because of we love to cook together, and we love food, we love beer, and sharing those experiences with people. And it's all of the traveling that he's done, all the traveling we've done together, it's kind of like bringing all of our traveling and around the world experience to this place that we own. Yeah, and it's in this building we're able to really explore that and our creativity and put it out there, and it's very exciting. So yeah, so in the future I see us expanding that business, taking it where it's meant to go, because I know it's gonna explode here one of these days and everybody's gonna know about it. But until that point, we are building our team, we're building our systems and putting things in place, and that's great. Tonight was an amazing night because we got a chance to leave our business with our new employees who are running it for us, which is so incredible. So we're not doing it by ourselves anymore, you know.
And you get a chance to come to
Yes,
Victor ETV, and we're gonna put
so
you out
exciting.
there, and we want people to come and support your business, support you all in your work and your vision and what have you. If you have a Cash App, you can give it to us now, and it will be there. And people out there who have connections.
Yes.
And if you want to hear her sing, how can we hear you sing?
So you can follow me on my Instagram. It is at Skye ReVera, but that is skye.re.vera, so skye.re.vera, and that is my Instagram. You can find me under the same name on all platforms, Facebook and TikTok and all those good things. And you can hear my singing there because I post a lot of videos and live videos there of me singing. I am about to get ready to restart my YouTube channel. You can find me on YouTube under Skye ReVera, and it's going to be an exclusive music channel, so I'm only going to put music on there. So that is literally getting ready to start. I think I have one video on there so far, but so yeah, in the future I see music being a huge thing in my life. I really want to explore worship music, Christian music. That's my heart and that's my soul, and that's what I want to put out when I sing. And I want to see the business boom. I want to see our murals and art everywhere, and this is the dream. So I see it happening.
Well, that's fantastic, and it's gonna. I believe it's gonna happen also. We just have to. We have to pray for favor, which I always do, and you'll get a chance to see some of her singing anyway. I recorded her at another one of her presentations that she had, probably was in this same building here. You get a chance to hear she was singing, and she's such a sensitive person, and she was so emotionally involved in the song that I believe you had sung, because I believe it meant a lot to you.
It was actually the first time I had ever sung the song in front of anyone, really, because I had no music to it yet, so I did it a cappella, and I think.
But it was still beautiful.
Thank you.
It was still beautiful, and it meant so much.
My voice broke a lot, and I wasn't singing my best, but to me, that moment was very emotional to me, because it was kind of like, you know, all the stress that's happened this year, which is chaos that has happened this year, and all the emotions that were built up that I had not really gotten to release, it all just came out at that very moment. And so
those moments can actually be healing, though.
And it was a very healing night. I felt that. I felt healing happening while I was able to attend our show and see it come to life, and then being able to sing my song that I'd written, which is a song that I plan on releasing in the near future, but I hadn't gotten it done at that point, so I was singing it a cappella, and I was so nervous, but it all just came flowing out at that moment, and I was so grateful for the little small intimate space we had and the few people that got to hear it. So it's very special. That was
special and a wonderful time. So you see who we met today? Again, on Sidewalk Talk, you got a chance to meet Miss Skye ReVera. Yes, and it's been wonderful.
Thank you.
And as I always say, that to remember about the Ankh. The Ankh is an artifact that I carry and that I promote. And it's about learning to love yourself and getting to know yourself, because if you don't love yourself, then you can't give away anything that you haven't received. So it's pretty much like do unto others as you have them do unto you, okay? It's the spirit of love, spirit of God. And understanding, once we can understand how to love ourselves, we know how to love others. And that's another reason why I do what I do. So I meet all types of people in the byways and the highways, or the streets, and even in the art theater. Okay, so at this time, as usual, I want to grant you Peace.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.